Hi everyone, this is PhpMyAdmin, and today we shall walk through the stages required in migration. So it's tagged as WordPress Migration Course 2020. And in this course, we are dealing with WordPress migration from WordPress file on the same server and also from different server. So I would like you to watch the video from the start to the end, and it's going to help you in all forms of migration. It's going to take care of migrating from the root folder or the root directory to a subdirectory, and also to a subdomain, and also from subdomain to the root directory, or from the subdomain to subdirectory. Now I'll give you illustrations of what is meant by root directory, subdirectory, and also subdomain. Oh, now let's go straight to the stage one. Now this caters for migration which is on the same domain. That means if you're migrating through, you are moving a file from a specific root folder. That is, if you have a website called domain.com, that is your root directory. Now when you have a subdirectory is when you have a forward slash and some alphabets are used or numbers are used. Now an example of a root directory is akinwebtesting.xyz, and an example of subdirectory is akinwebtesting.xyz//new. So now the first thing we are going to take care of here is how you can migrate WordPress file from root directory to subdirectory. Also, the second division under this stage is migrating from a subdirectory to the root directory. That means reversing the first operation. And the third, we're going to talk about moving from root directory to the subdomain. Now, subdomain often comes as a prefix before the main username. As in, what this means is this. Now I'm very sure you must have seen example of this online where you have new.domain.com. That means you have an extension before the domain itself and the suffix. Okay, so we are going to migrate WordPress file from root directory to subdomain. That is, we are going to use akinwebtesting.xyz to new.akinwebtesting.xyz. Now I've hosted WordPress files on this web URL for the sake of this tutorial. So I actually bought this domain, though it's very cheap, akinwebtesting.xyz. You can check it online and you can see if it actually goes through or not. And also we are going to reverse the third operation. That means from root directory to subdomain. Now we are going to move from subdomain to root directory. That means we are coming from new.akinwebtesting.xyz to akinwebtesting.xyz. And also we are going to move from subdirectory to another subdirectory. That means we are moving from akinwebtesting.xyz/new to akinwebtesting.xyz/new2. It's possible you can do migration on any levels. Okay, this is stage one. Now the best of this tutorial is for you to watch through, because we're going to be talking about a lot of tips and tricks you can use. So actually, if you know you have other steps by which you can do this, you can submit it down in the comment section below. Now the stage 2 of this tutorial is going to take care of moving from old domain to new domain, because most of the times we are fond of migrating from an old domain to a new domain. Maybe your Google AdSense account was rejected, and the content you have on your old domain, you want to move it down to a new domain. Now this is going to be useful for you, and you want to move it to your new domain, or you just want to change your domain name. It's very simple as ABC. So the best example to use is this. So I also bought another domain outside akinwebtesting.xyz. So the name of the website is akinmagazine.xyz. So you can also check the website too. So what I did was I installed different WordPress theme. I thought I used 2020 in akinwebtesting.xyz, and also use 2017 or 2018 or thereabout on the other one, so that's for you to be able to distinguish between each. Now the second division under this is for us to move from a root directory, domain 1, to a subdirectory in domain 2. That means we are moving from akinwebtesting.xyz to akinwebtesting.xyz we are moving from akinwebtesting.xyz to akinmagazine.xyz/new. Third, we are moving from a root directory of domain 1 to subdomain on domain 2. Also, we are moving from domain 1 subdirectory to subdirectory on domain 2. And the last one on this stage, subdirectory domain 1 to subdomain domain 2. So now with all these, this is a walkthrough tutorial which is going to take care of any forms of transfer or migration you want to do on CMS called WordPress. Okay, so what we are about to do today, you can actually check through WordPress support center, where they provide instructional steps and tricks for you to migrate your to migrate your WordPress file from one place to another. But most of the times it's a lot of problems I encountered, so I decided to take up the challenge and to create solutions to all this using the simplest trick ever. Okay, now we are not going to make use of any plugin, we are not going to make use of any extension or anything. We are going to do everything structurally, and by now I'm very sure you must have had your domain name, your hosting, and even in case you want a good domain, you want the best domain server, you want the cheapest on the cheapest deal. Right now I'll supply you a link. You can check through the description below, where you can find the link where you can order, and I'm very sure you have 99 uptime, you have a very cheap price of domain and server space, and also free SSL. Okay, so go straight to the link below this video and you can find the link there. So now let's go straight to the tutorial. First, let's check this URL, what it is. So let's now let's check akinwebtesting.xyz. Now let's open a new tab and check akinmagazine, okay, .xyz. Now let's check the first URL. Now you can see this is just a testing page. Let me say a test. We uploaded some post here on this. I thought I uploaded like 2-3 posts here, so you can have a look to what we have here. And the theme on this, I guess it's 2019 or 20. This is 2019, and you can check the second one, which is Akin Magazine site, which is 2020 installed. As at the time of this tutorial, the version of WordPress used is version 5.3.2, okay, which is the most secured as at the time of this tutorial. And this is also, the two websites are installed with the version 5.3.2 of WordPress. So, and the different theme were used, so that's for you to be able to to differentiate between the two websites. So let's get straight to the work. Okay, let's dive in straight to the migration process. So the first thing we are going to be taking care of is moving from directory to subdirectory. So now what this entails is, first you need to log into your cPanel. Something I use here is you need to log into your server. So the software to manage this server here is cPanel. So you have to go straight to the file manager. When it loads, you're going to have something like this. So I have many websites hosted on this server, so you have to locate you can type in the website URL there, akinwebtesting.xyz. So you can click on go, and you have your, you can see this is selected for you. So now these are all the files which you want to move. Now what's the instruction? Instruction says moving Akin web testing to xyz Akin web testing.xyz to Akin web testing.xyz//name. That means moving from root directory to a subdirectory. So now let's first thing we need to do is to log in into this website, the back end. So I'm going to show you just simplest trick to use for this. It's going to take you not less than 2 minutes to get this done. So you have to put in your login URL. Sorry, I get sorry, I want to copy the login URL. Okay, this is going to give you an admin access. Okay, now dashboard. What you need to do right there is just go straight to your settings and click on general. Mind you, what you need to first do, it's come here and root/new/new, okay, and click on save changes. Okay, now it's gonna redirect you to this internal server error. Don't worry. Okay, what you need to now do, go straight to your file manager. Under the same web directory, create a new folder called new. Once you create a new folder, you must select all and deselect new and move every of the files you have here. Move it straight to new. Okay, so it's going to take some time. Just hold on for it to move. Now you have directory is now inside. Now let's check if this is going to work or not. Now our new URL is now akinwebtesting.xyz/new. Now let's check if the WordPress file is there or not. Good, you can see the WordPress file is there. But there's one other thing I would like to tell you this. Now, at times when you do migrations like this, you're always faced with one problem. That is your posts or your pages might not be showing. Like example, let's click on this post right here, American ODS company. Now you can check the URL here. Now it might show us an error. So at times it shows and at times it doesn't show when you are doing the migration, just like that. So what you need to do is just to be very careful and follow the steps as I provide this. Now it shows, but to be on the safer side, log into the back end of this website, akinwebtesting.xyz/new/WPAdmin. Okay, so this is going to take you to the back end of this website. Now you can see the login URL has changed from akinwebtesting.xyz to akinwebtesting.xyz/new. Okay, so now let's quickly add our login. Okay, now let's log in. Okay, now that the dashboard has fully loaded, to solve the problem that might occur when you click on the post and it's saying internal server error, just as this, what you need to do, you have to go straight to your setting and go to Permalinks. Click on the Permalinks and you're going to just go there. Don't do anything here, just click on save changes. So with this, when it shows you that it's successfully saved, now you can have all your pages and posts. Now permalink structure updated. Okay, so that means you have that is fully done. Now for us to go back to for us to go straight to the second one, which is from subdirectory to root directory, it's very simple as well. All what you just need to do is just to reverse back our steps, which is very simple. Okay, so all what you just need to do, just the same way I taught you, go straight to general and remove the new that you have here. Okay, and click on save changes. It's going to show you internet server error or not found. Okay, so now what you need to do is just go straight to where I taught you. Reverse this, copy it back to the root directory. Okay, select all and move. Move. Now delete this, delete the new you have here and move files. You can see. So now you have hacking web testing XYZ. Now all your files are back here. Okay, now let's go straight to, let's not check the website if it's actually working or not. Okay, it's, you can see it's back to the root folder. So with this, now for us to be on the safe side as well, let's go straight to our dashboard and let's adjust our permalink so as not to be getting errors while we're about clicking on the post or the pages we have on the website. Okay, so now just go there and click on save changes. Okay, now let's test if all what we've done is actually okay. Now let's visit the site and let's click on this link. Okay, so if it loads successfully, you can see it loads successfully and you can actually go back. So with this, we've covered 2 out of stage 1. Now let's move from a root directory to a subdomain. That means on our present WordPress installation that we have on hackingwebtesting.xyz, now we have to move it to a subdomain. But mind you, let me quickly say this to you. Now, when you have a subdomain, it's quite different from when you are creating a directory. A subdomain requires propagation. You can contact your server. There might be sometimes you might create a subdomain and it might not be accessible, okay, on the same spot. So what you need to do is just to give it some hours, it to propagate. And also SSL is quite required to be installed, because when you have a subdomain is actually standing as a separate domain. For students in SEO will understand fully what is meant by this. Now, when you are trying to create a subdomain, it's quite different from when you're trying to create a subdomain. What you're trying to do is that you are trying to create a version, another version of the website on the same directory, on the same domain, on the same server. Okay, what you need to do when you create, when you go straight to your, let me use this as an example. Now, if I want to create a subdomain on my cPanel here, okay, I'll go straight to domain. Okay, I would say subdomains. Okay, now once you click on this subdomain, it takes you straight to where you can create a subdomain, and it also installs an SSL for you automatically on this. That was why, for you to get the best hosting for 2020, I advise you to check the link below this video and order through the link. I'm very sure you're going to have the same interface as mine. Okay, so now you can check through the subdomain. You can see I've actually created a subdomain called new.hackingwebtesting.xyz, and I've actually installed SSL on it. So now let's go straight to this. Now all what we need to do right here, okay, is to understand the basics of this. Now what we need to do is you have to scroll down. You can see you are working with 2 different things here entirely. Okay, this is a version of the website. Now this is another version of the website. Now these are default folders. Let's delete these folders from here. Okay, so what we need to do to be on the safer side, always have a full backup of your WordPress files and folders when we're about to migrate, because anything can happen. You might omit a folder, you might omit a file, but the best you can do in this aspect is for you to have a full backup. So what I'll do right now, okay, it's to create a folder called backup. Okay, create a new folder. So what we'll actually do right here is to create a folder called backup. Now select all, okay, and copy. Click on this, copy, okay, and add this, copy files. Okay, so it's gonna be good. Now extract compress this into a zip folder. So it's going to compress, and it's also going to download. I'm sorry, it's going to compress and going to show you results of the compression. Okay, so now this is our folder, this is our file. We are about moving from hacking-web-testing.xyz to a subdomain. Okay, so let's download this. Okay, so while we are doing this, now the file is 16.7 MB. So let's wait for it to fully download. Okay, right now that our file is properly downloaded and it's in the download section, so all what we need to do is just to cut it and move it straight to our desktop. Paste it. Okay, so let's go straight to our cPanel, and this is where we have copied it from, so we're taking it to this place. Okay, so new.hacking-web-testing.xyz. so said this directory is empty, so we are moving the files here, so you need to click on upload and locate the file and upload the file. So it's gonna upload. Okay, now our file is fully uploaded here, so let's click on to go back to this. So what we need to do right now is to extract the uploaded zipped folder. So we have to extract. Okay, the extraction is done now, so let's now double click on the backup folder and select everything and move. Okay, so files, now everything is moved. So if you check through new.hacking-web-testing.xyz, you can see our folders are here. So let's delete these two files. Okay, so now we have this. Now the next thing we need to do, since we are moving from this domain from hacking-web-testing .xyz to a subdomain. So what we need to do right here is this. Now you go straight to in your cPanel. What we need to do is click on PhpMyAdmin. Okay, click on PhpMyAdmin and okay. Okay, so it's gonna redirect you in a moment. You want this place. Okay, so all what we need to do first, before you go straight to this, on the same this, kindly open this okay, let's say edit, so I'll actually know the database we are working on. Okay, now this is how you can get the database of what we are actually working on. Okay, the database name ends with WP784. okay, so this is WP784. so click to expand. Okay, now once you click on this as well, now what you need to do, look for where you can find options. Okay, look for where you can find options. Okay, so now from this database table you can see two things which concerns our next operation. So what you need to do, click on this. We have the site URL column, we have the site home column under option name. Okay, and the option value has to change. So what you need to do is to click on edit. Okay, click on edit and edit this. Okay, now we are moving straight to new. Sorry, let me only add new here. New.hacking-web-testing.xyz and click on go. Also edit this also and add new here. .hacking-web-testing.xyz. Okay, and click on go. So this will actually save the new values on this database. Okay, so now with all these being intact, now let's check if our new URL works. new.akinwebtesting.xyz. Wowzers, you can see it works, and it's been installed on the same version of the it's been installed on HTTPS. That means it's installed on the secured access of the website. So now let's try and see if our post actually works. Let's click on this. Good, it works. So now let's try to check if we can log in. Okay, so that will be /wp-admin. So let's try to log into the back end, and let's try to see, to be on the safer side, let's try to update the permalinks. Okay, so good. So now the dashboard of this has actually changed to this. Okay, so now you can see the URL has changed from akinwebtesting.xyz to new.akinwebtesting.xyz. So let's go straight to our permalink and let's update our permalink. Just click on save changes and you are okay to go. So now with this, we have actually moved. We are on the third subdivision. We are on the third division. That means moving from root directory to subdomain. So now let's try to reverse back what we have actually done with moving from root directory to subdomain. So now let's move back from subdomain to root directory. It's very simple. Just follow the same pattern which we earlier followed in this tutorial. And since you still have this on, okay, all what you need to do is just to ensure you delete the WordPress installation you have on this new.akinwebtesting.xyz and ensure you keep the former one intact. Now let's check if actually this should redirect. I'm very sure if you visit this URL, okay, let's visit the old URL before we start the fourth migration. It should redirect you to, okay, it's actually showing this as well, right? Okay, all what you need to do, let's assume nothing on these shows. Okay, let's actually delete the installation we have on akinwebtesting.xyz. Let's delete everything, okay, and okay, select all, delete. Okay, let's skip and delete, so that for me to prove everything to you, it's genuine. Okay, so let's visit the URL again and let's see what's going to show. You can see it's showing index. So now we are trying to move from the subdomain to the root domain now. So all what we need to do first, upload the backup file that we earlier uploaded to new.akinwebtesting.xyz. Now let's upload this. Okay, our file is fully uploaded. Okay, so click to go back. Okay, now extract the files from the folder and move to move to the root directory. Okay, so now what you need to do is to reverse what you've earlier done before, and good. So you have to reverse this by deleting the front extension you have, and also edit this out, delete the new. Okay, so with this you have actually revert your earlier action. That means moving from subdomain back to root domain. Okay, so what you need to do right now, it's okay, for us to, we double sure of what we've actually done. Formerly it was showing index, that means nothing is on the website actually. Okay, now let's refresh this and let's see. Good, it's back. But I'm very sure, but if we should visit the subdomain .xyz, it might resolve back to, now it's resolving. So let's do the same thing we did to this. Let's delete the folder from let's delete the folder from these two, and let's check again if it's gonna work or not. Okay, so confirm. Good. Now let's visit this again. Let's refresh. Now you can see, so now it's back to this and it has left the the subdomain. So let's go straight to the last migration under this section, which is from subdirectory to another subdirectory. Good. That means we are moving from subdirectory, that means new, and we're having a new subdirectory which is new too. So what we need to do is very simple. Now let's quickly migrate this to let's migrate that means we are back to this like in web testing. So we have the new here, but I think there's nothing here. Okay, so let's quickly, or let me say copy. Okay, let's move all this. Okay, but the best way to do that, as I've earlier taught you, just go straight to settings and change it to general, change it to new, okay, /new. Okay, so now it will tell you this, which I've earlier explained to you, why it always shows that you. Okay, so what you need, we don't need this. Let's close this. So now let's move all these files here. Let's select all and move all the files to new. Okay, so now let's check again. Again, web testing .xyz/new. Okay, so we should have, now we have it on this URL. Now that means we have our WordPress file on webtesting.xyz/new. So we're about moving it to a new, we're about to move this to a new directory. So now what we need to do next is to create on this same directory, let's create a new folder called new2. Okay, so we have to move the content of new to new2. Okay, but what we need to do, as I've taught you earlier, go straight to your dashboard, go straight to settings, and go straight to general. Okay, and add number two. Okay, so save changes. It's going to show you not found. Okay, so what you need to do is just to copy the content you have here, select all. Okay, just let me teach you a simple trick. Just move everything here and drag to new2. Okay, so this will solve web testing .xyz/new2. Now with this, our WordPress file is on this other it's on the second directory. Okay, so that means for the stage 1 we're through concerning domain migration. So back. Okay, welcome back. So now we are on the second stage of the migration course, which is we are moving from an old domain to a new domain. Okay, now let's log into this. What we are trying to do right here, we're trying to move the content of this out to a new directory called NameCheap. So let's go straight to settings, go to general, and add this. Okay, it's just for us to keep the installation, the WordPress installation on this URL, so as to clear the okay. So let's move everything here. Select new and move. Okay, so now we can check. Let's check this. It should be on this. Okay, so we have actually moved the WordPress file found on akimagazine.xyz to a subdirectory. Just this is done for us to be able to have an empty directory on akimagazine.xyz. Okay, so now what we can do, we can go straight to the I think if we should visit the home now, we shouldn't have anything here. It is empty, okay, except this extension, except this directory that is on it. So now what we are trying to achieve here is moving the content of our old domain to a new domain. So that means we want to have everything we have on this akimwebtesting.xyz to be on this. So what you need to do is very simple, just as we've done earlier on. So first you need to think we are dealing with first you need to know the database we are dealing with, WP784. okay, so which is where it's now WPF option. So what you just need to do, it's very simple. First we need to go straight to our cPanel, which is here. So all the content we have on this, first thing we can do right here is to select all. Okay, but before doing that at all, what you need to do is just go here, go to your database here, which is this, and edit Akin. This is the only place we are editing magazine.xyz. okay, and edit this as well. Okay, go. So now once you have this, the next thing you need to do is just to move. It's quite simple. So once you've selected everything on akimwebtesting.xyz, move everything and drag it to akimagazine.xyz. okay, so you have everything on akimagazine.xyz. so now you can refresh this. Now it's showing empty, and I can refresh this as well. So now you can see it has moved the content we have on akimwebtesting to akimagazine. okay, so which is quite possible for you to revert back the operation as well. So now let's try to click on these links and let's see if it's going to work. Now it's not working. So now quite remember, if you can recall, that I earlier explained this, that you might get internet server error. Now this is caused from Permalinks. So let's try to log into the back end of this, and mind you, we are not going to use the same login URL that we used in logging into akimagazine, because we have moved the WordPress file and the login saved on the database of this has also changed. So we have to enter the login parameters we earlier used for Akin web testing, use it here. Okay, so now you can see it successfully logged us in. So what we need to do to correct that error is to go straight to Permalinks and click on save changes. Okay, so now let's visit the website again and see if it actually works or not. So let's click on this. Now you can see it works. That is perfect. So now let's go to its second stage. Now root directory from domain 1, okay, to okay, now we're copying from. Now the second stage says moving from root directory on domain 1 to a subdirectory on domain 2. This is also possible. That means what this means is this, that we are moving from akimwebtesting.xyz to akimagazine.xyz/new. okay, so that means what you need to do right here, since we have moved this, so let's quickly move it back to where it was coming from. Okay, let's change this. let's change the value of this to web testing, okay, .xyz, and also change the second to, let's change the home URL also to web testing.xyz. Okay, click on go, and once you have this with you, so what you need to do right here is to move back the files from Magazine to web testing. Okay, so let's do this as well. Okay, so now we have everything on the web testing back again, so we can refresh this and let's see how it's gonna work out. Now it's perfectly working. Okay, now you can also correct the permalink if it shows. Now it's not showing, so this is quite okay. Now what we are trying to achieve is to ensure we move all the content we have on this old domain to a subdirectory on the new domain. Okay, so now what we need to do on magazine.xyz, now create a folder, let's say new, or the instruction says new. Okay, it's create new. Okay, now with this it's very simple. What you need to do, log in into this web testing.xyz/wpmadmin and go straight. I will have advised you to use this, but to some extent it doesn't work when you are trying to change the suffix, which is the .com, .org, and everything. So the best way to communicate with the server is to go straight to your go straight to the go straight to the PhpMyAdmin, which manages the database of your WordPress website. Okay, so let's edit this and let's change our values to magazine.xyz/new. Okay, oh sorry, there's an error here. Okay, I use EU, sorry, it's supposed to be new. Okay, so, and the second one also has to change, so it should be magazine.xyz/new. Okay, so let's click now we have this now. Okay, so what you need to do right here is to move our files. That means the files which are in this web testing, we have to move everything, select all and move. Okay, before we do that, okay, let's open up this so that we can easily move to this folder. Okay, so having selected all these on web testing.xyz, now gently move to new. Okay, so everything is now on the subdirectory on the second domain. Now let's check if our new URL, which is magazine.xyz/new, works. magazine.xyz/new. Let's check if it works. Good, this is perfect. Okay, this works. But now let's check if the permalink, good, it said it's not found. Okay, this is quite understandable. So let's log into the back end and correct the permalinks. Okay, so this is still our login credentials to get into the back end of the website. So now okay, I'm trying to check if everything is okay. Yeah, magazine. Good, so yeah, this logs us inside the good. So let's quickly correct the permalink we have here. So good, so let's save changes and let's go back to the website to see if it's working. Okay, let's click on this. Now you can see it's perfectly okay. So the next thing we're going to do, moving from root directory to a subdomain, is quite easy if you use the same process I told you. Or moving from a subdirectory to subdirectory, that means moving from subdirectory on domain 1 to subdirectory on second domain. It's very simple. Okay, let's dive in straight to this. I'm going to use just an approach for these three other remaining ones here. We have the root directory on domain 1 to subdomain on domain 2, subdirectory on domain 1 to subdirectory on domain 2. It's quite possible as well. You just need to change some extensions in your PhpMyAdmin folder, in your PhpMyAdmin tables in the database. Okay, what you need to do is just to know how to communicate with this and how to identify where you can make changes. Okay, so once you are here now, the next thing says we should move from root directory to subdomain. So now, where's our root directory? Our root directory, as the file is still here. The WordPress file is on this magazine.xyz/new. Now subdirectory to, okay, now let's gently move this to, okay, let me just try the last one, which is web testing.xyz. let's see something good. There's nothing here. Okay, now let's try to put some WordPress file here. Okay, let's do some things here. Okay, it's on this URL. Okay, now select all and move to the root directory called web testing.this. Okay, we have web testing.this. Okay, now let's see. It's actually show us something good. This is okay. Let's see. Okay, sorry, we haven't edited out something yet. Okay, okay, now let's check. Sorry, something is wrong somewhere. Okay, it's actually redirecting us to, okay, I think we have conflict in our database. Okay, let's actually clear everything. Okay, and let's clear everything on the magazine. Okay, so good. So I think we're through here. So I'm not sure there should be anything installed on both domains. Good. Web testing. Okay, so we have a blank installation on both. So now it's very easy for us to do now root directory to subdomain. So that means we are working on web testing.xyz, right? So now let's upload the WordPress folder. Okay, so still uploading. So the values we have in the database to okay, this is still the database we're working with, 784. So now let's change the values we have here. Okay, I think we are still on the way with this web testing. Okay, now let's go back home. Now let's extract this. Extract. Now fully extracted. Now let's select all and move to the homepage directory. Oh, sorry. I think we uploaded this on the wrong URL. Okay, sorry, we're actually working on web testing, so let's upload the files. Okay, now most of the times one is not majorly concerned about other things we have here. The other thing you are highly concerned about is just ensuring this has a correct value, and once you make any mistakes here, it might end up not giving you the right result you desire of. Okay, so I would advise you in the best option to always make sure you have the same length of values here and also here. Okay, so okay, now it's fully uploaded, so let's go back to and let's extract. Now we have everything here, so let's select it and move. Okay, so now we should have everything on this directory now. So now let's check web testing.xyz. Let's see. Good, so it works now. Now let's click on the URL. Now it also works perfectly. Now what we are trying to do right now is now trying to move it to a subdomain, which is moving it from web testing.xyz to new.akimagazine.xyz, which is the second domain, but a subdomain on the second domain. So now all what we need to do is just to, since we have our WordPress file, all what we need to do is just to go straight to this. Scroll down. Now you have your new.akimagazine.xyz. Now you can delete these two default folders that happens to be inside any new created directory or subdirectory. Okay, so now since we have our WordPress folder, or let me say from that part of your website which you have archived, maybe in a zip folder or in any zipped extension, okay, what you need to do is just to upload the same folder right on this subdomain. Okay, so upload the same folder you have there, upload it here. It's fully uploaded on the subdomain. So what you need to click go back to and extract this out. Okay, let's delete this zip folder, select, and let's move. Now, so we have our web folders here. So what you need to do next is just to interact with this same now change this to new.akimagazine.xyz and change the second one to akimagazine.xyz. akimagazine.xyz. Okay, good. So now we have this done. So let's check to see if okay, sorry, new that's okay, magazine that's xyz. Good. So our files are now on this subdomain now. So now let's try to click on each of the links if it works. Okay, it actually works. Okay, so that's good. So now for the next two steps, now copying from subdirectory, all what you just need to do is just to know how to insert values here and how to copy, how to migrate. And with everything I've done so far, I'm very sure you must have gotten techniques to use. Now kindly ensure to know how to migrate to your PhpMyAdmin. Just a recap: go to PhpMyAdmin, you wait for it to redirect you. Now once it redirects you, now you can access, but first ensure to know the database you're actually working on. If it's like this server where I have more than 10 databases here of WordPress installation, now you have to be very careful and to know the ones you're actually working on, so as to avoid complications or to affect other sites. But if you have just one database file on your server, it's quite okay for you to do some manipulations. But during this procedure, I'll advise you to follow through this tutorial one after the other. First, identify the one that pertains to what you want to do concerning migration from one person to another, or moving from a subdirectory to a directory, or doing this the thing in reverse, moving from directory to subdirectory, subdirectory to directory, or you are moving from an old domain to a new domain. So what I advise you to do right here is to first identify the database you want to work on. Once you click on it, the only place you have where you can change the values, ensure you have option. Now you might purchase your own server from a different you might purchase your server from a different server seller or something like that. But so all what you just need to take note of is just to look for option, look for the word option on the database. Now click on it and you can edit your values here. Okay, so now with this tutorial, I'm very sure I've been able to put you through on how you can migrate from any part of the website to the other part of the website, or a new part of domain to an old part of domain, or from old part of domain to new part of domain. This is PhpMyAdmin, and for all links which was used in this tutorial, they are found below this video. And for your suggestions, comments, and opinions, now you can drop them in the comment section below.